Yo, I still remember when I was part of the crowd. Like till this day, the memories of 16-year-old me still haunt me. I really don't know why, but I can say that with the perspective that I have on life, and it's still growing because I'm putting myself into more and more pressure. What I've learned from these hauntings is that they serve as a reminder of what I should never do. It reminds me to never stay stuck, to never avoid anything. Because for most of us, avoidance is the main reason why we don't move forward. There's always something that stops us. And for me back then, what stopped me was a lack of drive. But I didn't know what I wanted because partly I was in the crowd. I was like everybody else. I still remember the amount of advice that I took from my parents, the amount of advice that I took from friends, people that I first met at my first ever job. Like it was a part-time job. And I remember these guys who were wasting their lives. And I was taking relationship advice from them. And these things haunt me a lot because I was someone who was so weak and insecure back then. I wouldn't say that I feel regret, but it's rather like, why? Why did I do all those things? Why did I confess to a girl who had no sort of real value except physical attraction? Why did I do that? Why did I not talk back to the guy who put me down at my first workplace? Why was I scared? Like, these are the things that play in my mind. Why did I take advice from my mom on health, life, when clearly back then she was destroying herself? And come to think of it, all these things were never something that I saw back then. I don't know why, but I wished I had seen it sooner. Maybe for you, I don't know what's it like, but if you are winning or building right now, you will know exactly what I'm saying. Just because you're winning and building right now doesn't mean the version of you who was part of the crowd, the version of you who gave into mediocrity, is forgotten. He's still there. He or she is still there. And these memories just haunt you, man. I still remember times when I wasted so much of time on video games. I wasted so much of precious time on that shit. I could have built something, built a skill. To me, it wasn't really wasting my youth. I wasn't consuming any nonsense. I wasn't addicted to anything. But it was being stuck. That was the problem that I faced. And during that phase of being stuck for a good 6 years, while my parents were worried for me, because my sisters apparently had their life figured out because they were more mature than me. And like when these memories play in my head right now, I think to myself, was everything wrong? Like when I was living life back then, was everyone actually right about me? Was I just a naive, immature teenager? Was I just some kid who was chasing validation? Was I just some kid who wanted to be seen? Because I remember the life I lived back then. It was a complete lie. I was so insecure that I remember lying to almost everyone about my life. My status, the money that I was making when I was young. It was stupid. And it was so funny that I talked so much about all my plans, and those plans were just fiction. And you know what the funny thing is? I'm living that life right now. The lies eventually became the truth because I kept feeding myself with that delusion that I was making money, I was working out daily, I was learning, I was grinding. But I didn't do anything back then. I was just drifting. But now when I'm living it, everything changed. And that's why it hurts even more. The people that gave me advice, the self destruction from my mom, the way I viewed school, all these things. Like it's more than just these three things. I view them so much more differently, and it hurts even more. I can't describe why it hurts, but it just hurts. It's like, damn, like that's the feeling. But really, that's what I've been replaying in my head for a while. It's just these constant thoughts, exact memories of me in the past. Maybe the only thing I could take away from these hauntings is to jump into the pressure. Because the only mistake I made, and the only fear I had was being scared. I was fearful of everything, back then at least. Girls, adult stuff, army letters, taxes, just responsibility. I avoided that at all costs. And really the only way for me to grow is to jump over that roadblock, to just do it. That's why I'm so driven now to put myself in situations that create so much of pressure in my life. Because that little kid, 16-year-old me, a scared little kid, will always be there to remind me of what to never go back to. I don't want to relive the past again. I'd replay it, but not relive it. Yeah. I have this picture actually under my desk. This was me when I was 12 years old. And I had memories, I still have memories of me like going with the crowd. Like I know I was young and naive. I think everyone was like that back then. But this picture always reminds me of who I was once. Who I once was. Yeah. That's all I have on my mind. I hope this helped, and thanks for watching. Ciao.